Want to do a brew this weekend. I'm going to make a Kolsch. Uh, I was looking through my refrigerator at my yeast bank, and I happened to find this bottle of Kolsch yeast. I guess it's kind of backwards in the video, but if you look at the date on it, it says it was from 2016. So I said, what the hell, I got a few days. This was Monday. I'm brewing Sunday. Let's see if this will work. So I took about a cup of some canned wort that I had, a little more than a cup, and added about a cup of water to it. And the wort started out at 1040, so I knocked it down to, I'm guessing, somewhere around 1015. And I put the yeast out of this bottle in it. Well, I watched it for a day or two, and it did not look like it was doing anything. I could not see any activity at all. Actually didn't really think to check the gravity when I first made the wort and take a comparison a day or two later to see if it had changed. I'll remember that next time. Anyway, I didn't think it was working. So I went to my frozen yeast bank and I found a little bottle of the same yeast from the same batch, same date that I had frozen. Anyway, so I threw that in a couple days later, looked some more, and I thought I saw some bubbles around the top of it. I have it on a stir plate, and I thought there were some bubbles around the top of it, but I just wasn't really sure that I was getting any activity. Again, I didn't think to check the gravity. So I went back to my frozen yeast bank, and I found a couple vials, same stuff that I had harvested. And this, if you look, I harvested it in 2018, and it was made from the other frozen bottle of the Kolsch that I had from 2016. So this is only 2 years old. It's 2020. And I put one of those vials in. I let it thaw out, and I thawed it, let it sit at room temperature till it came to room temperature, about 4 hours or more. And then I poured it into the vial and kept an eye on it. Again, didn't look like anything was happening. Now this was about Wednesday or Tuesday. Well, it was Wednesday. So I went back to the yeast bank, got the second vial, and I threw that in yesterday. Last night I added another half pint of wort into what then was almost a pint of diluted wort. And I watched it, and it kind of looks like there was some yeast spinning around on the stir plate, but I still wasn't sure. So I went and checked it this morning, and I actually tasted the starter wort, and it did taste different than wort. I compared the two. Then with the, I tasted the starter beer, and I compared it to some of my starter wort. I opened up another jar of my canned starter wort, and definitely was a difference in taste. It tasted like it was beer more than it was wort. So I thought, well, maybe it is doing okay. So I added another pint of wort into the vial on the stir plate and stirred it up a little while. And then I shut the stir plate off because I wanted to see if I could see any activity. Well, I just looked at it, and I'm seeing some activity. Here's the stir plate right there, and I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit and check it out. Tons of bubbles rising up. Nice kreuzen on top. That yeast is good. So the question is, I don't know if that is from the 2-year-old yeast or the 4-year-old yeast, but I do know that at a minimum, you can freeze yeast for at least 2 years with the 15% glycerin solution so that it protects the cells, and it works. Look at those bubbles going in that vial. Okay, I'm going to go ahead to make sure I get it really going and turn on my stir plate, and we'll see it starting to come up. And I'm just going to leave it in the stir plate. I think I will go ahead now And this, as you can see, is a 1 liter starter. I'm going to pour it into my 2 liter flask and make a 2 liter starter. I probably won't need that much for the 6 gallon batch I'm going to use, but it will let me harvest some more yeast and make another set of frozen yeast for the next time around. That's kind of weird. You see those chunks floating around. Eventually those chunks will dissipate and you'll just see little particles going. But that's stuff that had settled to the bottom from the dry malt extract. When I can it, I typically add a little 1 or 2 pellets of hops and some yeast energizer or yeast nutrient, and it's worked. I was just going to head out to the home brew store and buy some yeast, but I don't need to. Cheers.